Today, we're breaking down an absolutely electric matchup, the epic Group B finale, where tournament co-hosts Canada squared off against a deeply disciplined Switzerland squad. Let's just unpack exactly how this thrilling, tension-filled encounter actually played out.
So it's the classic footballing question, isn't it? What happens when an immovable defense meets an unstoppable press, all in front of a completely roaring home crowd? This match gave us a fascinating clash of styles inside an absolute pressure cooker environment. For Canada, the math was, well, it was remarkably simple, but agonizingly heavy. They literally only needed a single point. Just a draw against Switzerland locks down the top spot in Group B. And more importantly, that single point guarantees they stay right there on home soil in Vancouver for the knockouts. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force, all with the weight of an entire nation watching.
Section 1. The tactical chess match. First half tension.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast in those opening 45 minutes. It was fascinating. Switzerland, they operated with absolute icy composure. They were anchored brilliantly by Granit Xhaka, who was basically acting as the metronome of the game, just relentlessly controlling the tempo to completely stifle the opposition. And Canada's response? A high-octane press, totally fueled by that roaring home crowd. I mean, every single time Canada transitioned the ball, the stadium absolutely erupted, pushing their aggressive style forward. But despite this massive clash of strategies, every single move on the pitch was heavily calculated. Neither side blanked. We went into the halftime whistle hanging in a deeply tense 0-0 stalemate.
Section 2. The Swiss double blow. Second half drama.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because I gotta tell you, the timeline of the second half is just staggering. Barely a minute after the restart, we're talking the 46th minute here, Ruben Vargas finds a tiny pocket of space and just fires a precise strike right past the Canadian keeper. Boom. 1-0 to the Swiss. And honestly, before Canada could even fully gather their bearings and process what just happened, the clinical Swiss struck again, 57th minute. A rapid vertical transition catches the entire Canadian backline completely off guard, and Johan Manzambi capitalizes, smashing home a second goal. From a tight 0-0 stalemate to a massive Swiss advantage, literally in the blink of an eye.
2-0. You could literally feel the devastation in the Vancouver crowd. It was palpable. All that momentum, all the energy of that high-octane press, it just seemed entirely deflated. Switzerland looked completely and firmly in control, seemingly cruising toward an easy maximum point finish to claim the group. For the co-hosts, that dream of winning the group and staying home, yeah, it felt like it was rapidly slipping away.
Section 3. The super sub strike. Canada fights back.
73. I want you to focus on that number for a second. That is the jaw-dropping number of seconds it took for Canada's substitute, Promise David, to make absolute magic happen after stepping onto the pitch in the 76th minute. 73 seconds. It is the textbook definition of an instant impact. And it was all sparked by manager Jesse Marsch utterly refusing to back down on home turf, deciding instead to gamble on some critical attacking changes. Okay, let's dive into this because it's a beautiful sequence. Step 1. Marsch rolls the dice with those attacking changes from the bench, instantly shifting the Canadian shape. This tactical tweak creates the crucial space for Saliba, who delivers this perfectly floated cross right into the danger area. And on the receiving end, Promise David. He shows outrageous control, stretching out and volleying the ball into the net from 12 yards out. And here's the best part. Actually, the craziest part. It was his very first touch of the match. 1 touch, 1 goal. The stadium absolutely exploded, bringing the score to 2-1 and setting up what would become the ultimate grandstand finish.
Section 4. A fraught finale. Desperate last minutes.
The end of this game turned into an all-out Canadian onslaught. I'm talking pure, unadulterated football and chaos for the final 15 minutes, plus an agonizing 6 minutes of stoppage time. They just threw wave after wave of pressure at that disciplined Swiss defense. Liam Miller's introduction injected pure chaos down the wings, completely stretching the Swiss lines and forcing a superb, desperate block from Nico Elvedi. Then, in the dying moments, Jacob Schaffelberg sends in a flat cross. Alistair Johnston finds himself completely free inside the box, but his header just lacks the necessary power to beat the keeper. And finally, seconds later, Swiss goalkeeper Gregor Kobel bravely throws his entire body onto a loose ball to deny Derek Cornelius. That incredible save officially sealed the hard-fought, completely breathless 2-1 victory for Switzerland.
Section 5. A historic aftermath. Group B results.
And this brilliantly illustrates the final standings. Switzerland captured the top spot with a maximum 7 points, a massive testament to their discipline and clinical finishing. But here is the deeply satisfying twist. Despite the heartbreaking defeat on the night, Canada made history. By securing second place on goal difference over Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Canadian men's national team advanced to the World Cup knockout rounds for the very first time in their entire history. The final whistle blew, and while the battle was lost on the night, the broader war was undeniably won.
So both teams walk away with something monumental here. Switzerland proved their incredible tactical rhythm and defensive grit can withstand a roaring host nation. But for Canada, an agonizing 2-1 loss still resulted in a truly historic step forward. They won't be staying in Vancouver, but they are packing their bags and traveling south to Los Angeles for an epic round of 32 clash. But it leaves us with a huge question. Can Canada's high-octane press carry them all the way through the knockouts, or will their defensive vulnerabilities be their ultimate undoing against world-class opposition? Thanks so much for joining me on this